Welcome to The Explainer. Right off the bat, I want to establish that this intelligence briefing we're looking at today, To Sunny Side Up, is an initiative of Willem Scheepers and Damius Future Intelligence. They've put together a truly fascinating look into the next phase of artificial intelligence, and we're going to walk through their core findings step by step. Okay, let's dive into this. Who works, who decides, who learns? Now, you might be thinking these are just abstract philosophical musings, but they're not. These are the exact fundamental questions every single organization needs to answer right now. And it sets up our core theme perfectly. You see, we're no longer just looking at what AI can technically achieve. We're looking at a profound redistribution of work and responsibility itself. To make all this as clear as possible, here is our roadmap. We are going to guide you from the big philosophical shifts all the way down to daily workflows, and finally, out to global infrastructures. We'll hit AI as allocation power, the AI-Barbell Framework, the very real threat of human hollowing, designing the AI organization, and we'll wrap up with the geopolitics of AI.
All right, part 1, AI as allocation power.
So the old view treats AI like, well, just another tech tool, right? Something you use to write an email a bit faster or summarize a long PDF. But the new reality presented in this briefing, it's a completely different ballgame. AI has evolved into an active organizational layer. It's become an allocation power. And what does that actually mean for us? It means AI is actively redistributing work, authority, professional development, and ultimately economic control. The conversation just isn't about software features anymore. It's literally about who gets to maintain strategic freedom and who simply gets marginalized by the algorithm. Which leads us perfectly into section 2, the AI-Barbell Framework. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how this allocation power reshapes our modern organizations. The Barbell Framework shows us that AI doesn't just flatten hierarchies evenly across the board. Instead, it pushes value to the two extreme ends of the spectrum, like the weights on a barbell. On one end, you've got this massive growth in scalable AI execution. On the exact opposite end, uniquely human impact and high-level judgment become incredibly valuable. But right there in the middle, the routine knowledge work, that professional middle is getting intensely squeezed. Let's apply this barbell framework to a concrete profession so you can see how it plays out in the real world. Let's take the human auditor. As AI increasingly takes over that scalable execution side, the data crunching, routine control work, basic reporting, the value of the human auditor doesn't just vanish. No, it aggressively shifts. The unique human value moves entirely toward providing context, navigating contradiction, upholding ethics, and maintaining professional sovereignty. So if you're an auditor, your job isn't gone, but the part of your job that really matters has completely relocated to the edge of the barbell. That brings us to section 3, beware of human hollowing. We've looked at the organizational scale, but now I want to issue a direct, urgent warning about how stealthy this shift is for individual professionals. I absolutely love this quote from the source material. Good morning, the rooster crows. It is a literal wake-up call. The real threat here isn't a robot walking into your office and handing you a pink slip. No, the threat is what they call human hollowing. With the rise of advanced systems, and the briefing specifically points to future models like GPT 5.6, Fable 5, and Mythos 5, AI will step-by-step extract the meaningful judgment, experience, and learning capacity right out of your daily role. Your job title? It might stay exactly the same, but the actual substance of your work gets hollowed out from the inside. To make this invisible erosion feel as real and immediate as it actually is, let's look at the recent meta case regarding algorithmic employee assessment. Think about this. AI isn't just deciding what work gets done anymore. It's increasingly deciding who still counts in the workplace. AI divides the work and influences your visibility to management, your appreciation, and ultimately your job security. When digital activity becomes the absolute ultimate metric for productivity, everyday employees face a very real risk. The risk of being reduced to nothing more than their measurable digital footprints. It is a profound shift in how human value is calculated. Okay, moving on to section 4, designing the AI organization. So if that's the threat we're facing, how do organizational designers and HR leaders actively design this future rather than just passively enduring it? The essential takeaway here, and this draws heavily on insights from thinkers like Ethan Mollick, is that simply implementing AI tools is not the same thing as being an AI-native organization. Look, almost every company has AI tools today, right? But a true transformation requires fundamentally redesigning your workflows and the human roles within them. The sources point to the HCAF, the Human Capital Allocation Framework, to help facilitate this. It forces organizations to deliberately decide which tasks absolutely must AI take over, and crucially, which tasks have to consciously remain human. And here's the kicker. If you actually want humans to retain that professional judgment, you have to build the right culture for it. This requires what's called an algorithmic psychological safety climate, or ASPC for short. Think of this as the necessary human counterweight in an AI-driven organization. It's an environment where humans feel completely 100% safe to contradict an AI, to flag its errors, and to trust their own judgment over the machine's output. Make no mistake, without this specific climate, your AI implementation will inevitably fail. Why? Because long-term reliability absolutely requires safe, unpunished human intervention. All of this creates the need for a brand new organizational role, the AI Governance Advisor. And this moves way beyond your traditional IT compliance or risk management roles. Because we now have AI co-pilots and autonomous agents actively organizing and selecting data, someone has to step up as the defender of human capital. The core responsibility of this advisor? To protect the fundamental right of employees to question, correct, or completely overrule an AI outcome. They are there to protect the human space in the digital workflow. Finally, Section 5, the geopolitics of AI. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it perfectly frames a massive macro trend revealed by ASML's Statutory Interim Report 2026. Let's zoom way out from the individual professional, past the corporate level, all the way to the global stage. We have to ask a vital question. Who gets access to the capacity that actually builds the next generation of AI? Because this allocation power we've been talking about, it isn't just happening inside office buildings. It is playing out between entire nations. As ASML grows into the architect of global AI infrastructure, it becomes clear that this AI transition is fundamentally a geopolitical distribution question. The sources outline that regions like Brainport and the Netherlands as a whole are facing a critical choice right now. The briefing lays out 3 distinct scenarios. A nation can become a strategic pivot, it can find an adaptive middle ground, or it can just become a mere plaything of larger geopolitical forces. The strategic freedom for entire nations depends entirely on how they navigate this AI allocation power. Which brings us to our final thought. The central message of the Sunny Side Up briefing culminates in this one, highly provocative question. Will you consciously design this division of work, judgment, and power, or will you just let technology and its vendors decide for you? AI is no longer just about automation, folks. It is about allocation. If you don't design your organization's future deliberately, the algorithm is going to do it for you by default. Thank you so much for joining this explainer, and I really hope this deep dive leaves you ready to actively design your own space in our AI-native future.